The idea behind the taunting rule is to prevent the bigger things. Okay, we've had this example where one guy taunts a guy and then the guy comes back for a little payback, and next thing you know, you got a big fight on your hands. You got guys coming from left field hitting each other, and that's really what you're really, to me, I think the referees are really looking for. They're just trying to get it quieted down. And that's really you can do the celebration. They send a tape out and explain exactly what's taunting and what's not. And I think if you look at the tape and you follow the tape, then it makes sense. We're not trying to stop the players from having fun. We're just trying to make sure we don't end up with a brawl on our hands.
All of us, to a man, acknowledge that that's something that needed to be addressed. That's why it's a point of emphasis, and that's why none of us are surprised of the number in terms of being increased. The players will adjust. They always do. They better adjust quickly.
Okay, the NFL, for the second time since 2014, has made taunting a point of emphasis. That is a diplomatic way of saying that the officials were not doing their jobs properly. They weren't enforcing the rule on the books. This is not a new rule. And this is different from the celebration rules, which the NFL dramatically relaxed 4 years ago. And we loved it. Duck, duck, goose. And all the other things, the joint celebrations and one team. We've kind of gotten away from that this year. You don't see as much of that effort to try to one-up the other team.
Yeah, you're
with
right.
the way they celebrate. That's all permitted. That's all allowed.
Right.
Use the football as a prop. Knock yourself out. Anything but the actual dunk over the goalpost, because we have seen the goalpost knocked askew by Jimmy Graham. Everything else is fair game. This, Chris, to me, plain and simple, and I've said this before and I'm saying it again. Not that you need the preface. Anytime somebody says I've said that before, they don't need to say I'm saying it again, because they're just going to say it. This was a PR failure by the NFL. They did a poor job of introducing this concept, explaining the concept, pointing out that this is not an issue of celebration. What we just saw and heard from Ron Rivera and Mike Tomlin came way too late to put the genie back in the bottle, because thanks to social media, it's baked in that this is the no fun league attacking again, and this is nonsensical, and we don't know where the line is. The line is very simple. Don't get in someone's face. Don't spin the ball at someone's legs. Now, this one here, here's where it becomes a problem. Here's Keenan Allen getting ear hold. See that hit he took to the helmet? He gets up, and he's not taunting. He's upset that he took a helmet-to-helmet hit. Hey, man.
It's football.
You're trying to give me a concussion.
Well, okay.
Right? You're trying to give me a concussion.
He's
now
trying to tackle him. I don't care. It's wrong. He's wrong, Keenan
I
Allen.
understand.
It's football.
But here's my point.
Yeah.
Here's my point. He's not taunting. That's the difference. And you've said this. You were the one that got me thinking of this. Sometimes after a play, you got a couple of guys getting each other's faces and they're fired up and they're like, yeah, great play, great play.
Yeah.
They're going to think it's taunting.
Right.
That's where you have to be careful. And to a certain extent, you have to become robotic, where you just don't get into those interactions after any type of emotional play, big play. You do something good, he does something bad. You just can't get in his face, because out comes the flag if you do. So it's something that shouldn't be all that difficult to coach out of the players. My concern is some things can be misperceived as taunting when they aren't.
Yeah, sure.
But as to the idea that you're going to celebrate a play, just don't celebrate that play in a guy's face, and you're not going to get flagged.
Right. I don't know. It's pretty simple. I mean, this is where social media drives me crazy. Because if there was taunting and guys were doing, oh, this league's crazy, can't they just play football? These guys are a bunch of jerks and idiots. There's no sportsmanship. You can't win either way in this day and age. It's you never can win. The Keenan Allen play specifically, no, that should be called taunting. It should be. I mean, what, he's mad at the guy because he tackled him hard? Come on, that's stupid.
But regardless, it wasn't a taunt.
No.
It could be something else.
No.
It could be unsportsmanlike conduct, but he wasn't taunting him. He was pissed off because he thought he got hit in the head when he shouldn't have been. That's all.
I get that. And that's going to be a tough one. But, again, then you got to control your emotions. But, stuff like that right there, guys on the ground not feeling right, and you're clapping over them, no part of the game. Get the hell out of here with that. There's just no part. So that's where it's a bad look, all right? the coaches, of course, don't want this. It's a horrible example for kids and children. You can still celebrate, like you said, in the end zone, do everything. You go on the sideline. You can do all you want over there, dancing, whatever. There's plenty of fun to be had. Really, like the social media gang, like that's what's ruining football right now. The fact that you're not getting to see a guy, make a tackle 8 yards down the field like it was the greatest tackle ever, and you want to be like, no, it was a first down, and he's getting up over a guy like, yeah, I tackled you. I'm being paid $7 million a year to tackle you, and I did it. Like this, there's no part. It's stupid.
And his team's losing by 20 points.
Yeah, right. That's just stupid. You look like an idiot. That has to get out of the game. That looks classless and barbaric. So that would be my first point to that. For the coaches, on the other hand, too, they don't like the look of it. No. They want their guys to stay focused. And when guys start to get into that mode, things get personal, and then it affects their game. Oh, I was supposed to stay here in coverage, but I see that guy over there. I want to get him back. He taunted me before. And now you leave your coverage, and the personal emotions end up affecting the team. That's where the people wanted it out of the game. And the last point, or not the last point, but just the last thing I want to say here to button up. Mike, like, who are the people that brought this, to say, like, there's no part in the game, right? There's 8 coaches in the subcommittee, right, that recommended the move? I mean,
yes.
A part of these names, Brian Flores, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. These aren't like old heads that are, I'm just naming them because they're the young group of this group here. They're like, 40. They're not like old curmudgeon guys. They're telling you these are cool guys who were going, it's stupid. There's no part of this in the game. So I'm glad to see it go. And social media just needs to shut the hell up and watch football. That's what I got to say about that.
And this all flowed from the fact, I believe, that Tyreek Hill consistently threw the deuces at opponents as he was running to the end zone, didn't get flagged. It created that acrimony, and it carries over from one game to the next.
Yeah.
Because what happened in the Super Bowl? Because Tyreek Hill had thrown the deuces at Antoine Winfield Jr. in the regular season game between the Chiefs and the Bucs, and then once it was turn out the lights, the party's over in Super Bowl 55, that's when Winfield got down in Tyreek Hill's face with the prolonged and extended, he was doing this, but he was really doing, I can't do it, but he was showing him one finger, not two, when he had the 2 fingers in his face. That's what I think was the catalyst for the latest point of emphasis, which is just a reminder, hey, officials, this is part of your job to throw this flag, and you're failing. So it's not even a new rule. It's a rule that's on the books that gets enforced inconsistently and haphazardly. We are simply saying we want the rule to be applied fairly, and we want it to be applied correctly. It all comes back, and the NFL, I think, got blindsided by this. They didn't anticipate the reaction, and they need to learn from it when it comes to future rule changes or points of emphasis or whatever. Hey, how are people going to react to this? Do we need to put Mike Tomlin out there, Ron Rivera out there, Mike Vrabel out there, Kyle Shanahan out there? Do we need to do something to get people to buy in so they understand what it is and, more importantly, what it isn't?
Right. You're right. They could have messaged it better. I can spit that out there. Definitely to maybe help this. But, I back the NFL on this all the way. To me, the taunting stuff is just going to lead to player injuries, too. Think about there's a wide receiver. He catches a ball over the middle, and maybe runs over a safety or a middle linebacker. All right, and now that linebacker or safety, they're headhunting that guy the next time he comes over the middle. Oh, bam, knocked out, and there you got to play like now Antonio Brown, who's laid out in a playoff game. That's what the NFL doesn't want either. They don't want NFL players, me included when I was one, we are barbaric. We're stupid. We're a bunch of concrete meatheads. And when you do that stuff to that kind of man, he wants to get you back. That's just the way it is. And I think that's why it's player safety that makes sense. And ultimately, the sportsmanship is the thing that I really look at. Yeah, I got young kids. I got a little boy playing football, 11 years old right now. If I saw him make a tackle or do something, get over a guy and, he'd be in the doghouse when he comes home. I'd be pissed off at my little boy. Sorry, London. All right? So that's where it's got to end, too. It's a horrible example that way, and I'm going to back the NFL. I do agree with you. They could have messaged this whole thing a little bit better and protected them, but either way, I think this is the right way, and they're doing the right thing.
And it's not just the messaging before the point of emphasis was announced. Even during, Rich McKay, the chairman of the competition committee, the CEO of the Falcons, he said a few weeks back that this is something the players wanted. Well, that opened the door for J.C. Tretter, the NFLPA president, to say, we never asked for this. We don't want it. So now they got something else that they're pushing and pulling back and forth over. But, it's not just the full-blown brawl that could happen if these things escalate during a game. It is just that one play.
Yes.
Where a guy is upset because this guy got in my face on national TV, and I'm going to get him when he least expects it, and nobody's looking, and I'm going to pop him one, and maybe he gets injured. I'm not intending to injure him, but I'm going to get him. I shouldn't have gone that far. Well, how do you contain it when it's a human reaction? That's the thing you have to ask yourself,
exactly
folks.
Right.
You get in a spot like that, and somebody sticks it to you and pisses you off, and you have an opportunity to give it back to them later within the confines of an inherently violent game. Are you going to pass on that opportunity?
No way.
Or are you going to seize that opportunity?
Yeah, and exactly right. That's where my mind goes with the whole thing. Yeah, football players are the kind of people, like, you're swimming in the pool and, like, the blow-up ball hits your head from your nephew, and they're like, I'm going to get him back in a minute. I'm going to get him back. I don't care that he's my nephew and he's 9 years old. I'm going to get him back. That's just how they think. That's the way it is. So, yeah, I think in all areas, it's the right thing for the football game. The game is crazy and violent enough as it is. We don't need guys, demoralizing other guys. I don't need to see, like I said when this came out a month ago, I don't need to see some defender, standing over a guy with his junk in his face just to be like, yeah, look, I'm totally emasculating you now. Not only did I knock you out, but my junk's in your face too, so eat it. Like, I don't care. I don't want to see it. Sorry. It's got to go. So sorry about that, NBC and everybody else involved, but I think I had to get that point out.
Tom Brady is among those who do not like the renewed point of emphasis. Apparently, he had something to say on social media. This is him, the new taunting rule. Oh, agree. The new taunting rule is ruining the game. We want our athletes to chime in and speak their mind, but we also reserve the right to criticize them when they do. How is it ruining
the game? Like, that to me is somebody running his
extreme reaction.
Right.
It's ruining the game. The game is now ruined. I know we all like to have things to complain about. I love to have some good things to complain about, and in this case, I'm complaining about the complaining because I do think it's too much, and I do think it's a reaction of a very superficial, misinformed, social media driven.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent. We expect the old people to say, get off my lawn. This is the get off my lawn reaction to get off my lawn, to the perception of someone wanting you to get off their lawn. It's a knee-jerk reaction. It's irrational. It reflects a failure to understand what it's truly all about. And I think for every person who is chiming in with the retweets and the likes and the stick it to them, if you sat down and explained it to them the way that you and I are talking about it, they'd say, oh, ooh, you got a point.
I think so, too. I think it's totally
now I understand.
Ruining the game. It's ruining it. Man, ruining it. The first 2 weeks of the NFL season were amazing. Nor did I miss guys standing over the other guy going, yeah, I tackled you. That's ruining the game. That's ridiculous. Like, it is. It's a social media fad right now. Like, find a new thing to go after on social media, please. It's stupid.
Apparently, I'm hearing that the example that you provided about the nephew in the pool and all that isn't a hypothetical.
No, it's not. Somebody texted you? Yeah, then Matt Casey, he's seen it. He's seen it in action, right? He saw it in action. He came over for a family birthday party, and he saw, I don't care if you're 4 or 9, I'm going to get you back. You got me. That's just the way the NFL player thinks.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.